Sawadee krap. I'm Jodie Minting. I'm a consultant in Network for the Development of Agriculture Cooperative in Asia and the Pacific. Welcome to Needed Videos. I present special videos on international workshop on aquaculture value chain organized by Needed in partnership with Asian Institute of Technology Bangkok in 2020. Our website is www.nedac.info. You can enjoy the videos on Needed official YouTube channel or on Facebook NEDACHO. Best wishes. As per next agenda, may I respectfully invite Dr. R. Singh, Assistant Vice President from CP Food, to present the shrimp processing. Dr. Singh, please.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Is the screen visible now? Is the screen visible?
No, not yet.
Yes.
Not yet? Yes. Can I start? Is it visible now?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Rajkumar Singh, taking care of the technical division for the shrimp in CPF India. So at the outset, I'd like to thank Chairman NEDAC, Mr. Singh Nayak, for inviting us for this presentation. And I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Excellency Ambassador Madam Suchita Durai, who was here giving us a good introduction, and Dr. Ravi Rajan, the Federal Secretary, Department of Fisheries, India. I send my greetings to all the distinguished dignitaries and the presenters before me. So I'd like to start with the presentation. So these are the 5 topics I'd like to share with all of you. And if you just see in the time constraint which I was given, maybe some things I'll have to rush through. But surely India has a big coastline. If you see, the shrimp culture area is all over from Gujarat up to the West Bengal coast. It's already given an outline in the previous presentation. So there's a potential of around 170,000 hectares. But last year, from our estimates, we think it's around half of that was only active. So there's a huge potential for us to still grow, just horizontally, let alone, because we were discussing about some places where it was also increasing vertically. So if you see the contribution to different divisions, or as such, like the East and the South contributing almost 80% to this sector. And the production in India has been a spectacular growth curve until last year, where we think it's got something of a glitch now. And for 2020, many estimates from the industry are telling us that there might be a drop. Surely we can see, because we have a big problem with the lockdown and we were unable to do all the activities. So surely that quarter of backlog is going to affect us. But by the performance what we have seen for the first half of the year, it looks really encouraging. And the other half, I think we can cope up much faster. So the opportunities, like some of the presenters have already told, it's huge. There are many stakeholders here, but there are 4 major contributors to this sector, namely the farmers or the farming community, the hatchery units, the processing plants and feed mills. So all put together make up this industry up and running. Not only that, we do have some allied industries, especially for the healthcare products, the chemical suppliers, the peeling sheds, all these also giving their contribution to run this industry up and running. So we do have some indirect contributors, especially in terms of the electricity generators and other mechanics who are involved in running this industry smoothly. So giving you a background, why there was a little bit of glitch in this production cycle which we saw last year. So the major reason we found out was the issue with the emerging diseases, especially the EHP and the continuance of the WSSP. Maybe there are many countries reporting EMS and the decapod iridescent virus also. There is a very good chance that can be spread. It's zoonotic, so it can spread over. The other thing is with the sustainability, the model which we presently are running the show seems to have an inherent problem, especially on how well we manage the farm with the output, the water which is in the form of effluent, and how it's getting reintroduced into the system. This model looks very unhealthy. So there needs to be a shift wherein we can address all those issues and make it a success story to move forward. Surely, when it comes to food safety and traceability, we need to do a lot more, especially for the product quality and quantity, because we have operations spanning many countries, and when we compare ourselves with the benchmarks, we have said India needs to do a lot, especially for the food safety and traceability issue. But addressing all this, surely we need to differentiate ourselves. So India has to get a right culture model so that this improvement in the production will be addressed along with taking care of the problems which you have just mentioned. So going through this and based on our experience, we think the way ahead will be to find the reliable way out, which is implementable and people can get it done. So in that way, we want to be a solution provider to whatever problems we are facing. And surely we are now focusing on the three best principles like solution, quality, and service to come out of this glitch which we have. So shrimp culture as such, if you see, it's an integrated business, so you just can't neglect one particular sector and still get a very good product. No, it needs the contribution and cooperation of all four sectors. So you need to have the hatchery, feed, farming, as well as the processing, all working together in unison. But on this, I would like to focus more particularly on the farm sector, because farming is largely unorganized. We have many uneducated farmers because it's a livelihood for them. It's not as a business they do. So we need to help them come out, understand the concepts. So they are the major stakeholder, but the weakest link in the entire structure. So any model which we are going to promote or help them, it has to be profitable as well as eco-friendly. So taking into consideration of all this and the problems we are faced, we think broadly we have certain issues which needs to be addressed, starting with the seed quality as well as the quantity which we are stocking. We know in India, as per the regulatory authorities we have a cap of around stocking 60 pieces per meter square as the density for us. So based on that, how well will a farmer be able to get it done? Because 60 pieces per density also we think needs a lot of inputs, which the farmer community as of now is unable to do to the best of his ability. Surely we can have a better stocking system wherein we can improve the immediate survival for the farmer, especially we have a crop duration of around somewhere between 90 to 120 days as the crop duration. So you can just see by improving the stocking method, his survival is going to improve at least by 5 to 10%. It needs a lot for his profitability. And not only that, once we know that we are stocking the healthy and the active seeds, so surely the survival estimate and the feed rationing can be done more accurately. Not only that, we also have to think about how to have a clean environment, because finally, as the situation stands now, we are a major export-based country. So around 92 to 95% of the production is being exported. So we surely need to have a condition where our product is clean, safe, and surely following the eco-friendly practices. We are now getting into the realm of reuse of water material to avoid or at least minimize the pollution, which many of my previous speakers had also mentioned. So for the effluent treatment or the management, we also think that concepts such as batch stocking, the concept of the sludge pond or a sediment pond, all these needs to be looked into actively and should be in the executed phase also. So surely you need to have a better crop, giving you more material per ton of water, so the maximum utilization of material, manpower, and the market seems to be the way out. So for this, from our side, we have this CPF Smart Farm concept, wherein we have the 3C as well as the nursery. The nursery concept is just to tide over the 30 to 50 day period when most of the WSSP disease occurrence has been reported. So for the nursery, when we have an enclosed small environment which is concise and environmentally stable, we are able to avoid many of the problems, as well as have a healthy check at a regular basis, so that we know what is the condition of the juvenile which is being shifted. And in the farm, we have the clean pond, like the previous picture I told how in Thailand the pond system was altered, and now they have a waste accumulation point, or something called, we call it as a shrimp toilet or a sludge pit inside the pond. And surely if that has to happen, the pond size also matters. In India, we are still having an average pond size of about 0.55 to 0.6. That's the average pond size in India. So that needs to be addressed, because we have a big issue of accumulating the waste to the center in very large ponds. So the ideal farm size, which we think from our experience, especially from what we have seen in the eastern states of West Bengal and Orissa, as well as in few pockets in Gujarat, a 1 acre size pond should be the bigger extent. If it is smaller, it's a lot better, and we have a better production and productivity from such. And we also talk about the clean seed. So when you think of nursery, not only you're buying and you're holding it for a month or 45 days. So again, you will be able to judge the seed by its performance, even for that 30 to 45 day period. And based on that, you can shift it. Surely water is the key. So getting the best quality water needs a certain restructuring of the farm, because we have multiple water sources. In some areas using seawater, some areas using the canal water, some areas are inland, and some areas also using underground water. So all these have a different profile. So based on that profile, we need to work out on how well will the water system be, which will help the farmer come out. And surely all this setup is to be in a 100% biosecure environment, so that we will reduce the loss for the customer, because he is the weak link. Anything wrong goes there and he will disrupt the entire cycle. And surely farming based on scientific principles and the probiotic program is the way out. So going into the environmental aspect, we also think that hatchery division has been a major contributor also, because most of the seed travels from an area to another by plastic bags. So maybe for the long distance it might be unavailable, but for the short distance farm in coast of Tamil Nadu and Andhra as well as in Orissa, we have now thought of this concept of where we can transport the seed in reusable styrofoam boxes, wherein the seed comes with an excellent aeration system. So there's minimum stress, and your quality of shrimp at the stocking point or the delivery point is as good as what it was in the hatchery tank. So not only that, you can also see that here in the here in this particular photo, you are seeing the acclimatization process which is happening. That happens every time when the water quality between the farm as well as hatchery has a wide variation. So not only you bring the seed in an environment friendly box, but you also allow the seed to get acclimatized by increasing the volume in your particular stocking tank. So for us, this particular box carries around 100 liters of water, which is put in a 500 liter tank or a 1000-liter tank, wherein it's acclimatized. Even the stress, the mild stress which is there, will be overcome in this particular system, and then it's released into the pond. So you are releasing the most healthy and active animals which you have got from the hatchery into the pond system. So this is going to help a lot in the survival aspect for the customer. Not only that, we have also come up with the nursery model, wherein most of the trouble the customer will be able to overcome by having this 30-day period in a concise small tank. If you see, this tank capacity ranges from anywhere between 50 tons to up to 300 tons. So we are able to stock pieces per liter, just like what the hatchery people do, and we are able to grow it to a size of around 0.3 to 0.5, depending on the water source and the density which you have stocked. And after this, we are shifting the animals to the grow-out ponds. So here again, for us, as of now, the grow-out ponds are somewhere between 1 acre to 1 hectare, and the density we are stocking is around 40 to 60 here. We have a continuous harvesting system, especially there if we are in the 60 piece density belt, we do recommend partial harvesting. But when we do this process, what we find is farmers are able to have something called the compensatory growth, wherein from a small environment, the animal goes to a bigger environment and they grow very, very fast. In fact, our analysis shows that the average ADG for Indian system happens to be somewhere between 0.17 to 0.2 ADG. From that, we are able to reach 3 to 3.33 ADG. From 0.3 to 0.33 ADG is what we are able to get in this nursery shifted model. So I think it gives a farmer a very good hope and chance about having a better yield. Not only that, this nursery system also solves much of a problem which we have faced for the last 2 years, especially when the processing people, they buy the material, they end up with this huge size variation. So the farmer does the sampling and he says that X is this count, but that correct count we were able to match only 50% of his stock in that harvest, and the remaining being either oversized or undersized. So this gives a big problem on hand for the processing plant, because they work based on their orders and they are buying accordingly. So when the efficiencies come into place, this is going to give a big issue to the processing plant. So there is where we thought this nursery model is helping them, because once you know what is the size in the nursery, you can able to sort out the stock. You just select the bigger stock, put it in one pond, the smaller size animals go to another pond, wherein we are able to mitigate the size variation problem to a large extent. So there's what this helps, and surely the nursery system also works very well as a biosecurity point of view for the farmer. Not only that, the culture model, we are doing it. We are now the #1 exporter for shrimp in India. So the culture aspect, I think many of the customers understand the nuances very well. But when it comes to the harvesting and post-harvesting, still we are lagging there because there's been a huge explosion of farms all around. And we have this harvesting activity which is becoming almost everyday affair in the southern states. So we are pushing things to a limit where we do this open harvesting, and that's reducing our shrimp quality a lot. And when we compare ourselves with how other countries or in fact other states in India also do, I think there's a lot desirable because we find that buyers are now very how to say insisting upon the looks, the color of the shrimp also matters a lot for them. So the better meat quality always is a matter. And when we are in this open harvesting system, that there's a lot to be desired. We need to address that issue a lot. Going from the harvesting to the export segment, surely we have to think a lot. Our export basket looks very limited, especially if you see the figures for last year. We are focusing on two main countries for almost 66% of our export, and we very well know that the geopolitical ramifications of this is going to disturb much of the export sector for us. So we need to spread the export basket much beyond what's there now. And surely for the value addition part, because we are competing with multiple countries with the shrimp sector. So we are stuck with this PD, PDTO, and easy peel as the value addition product, but the next level happens to be for the cook and breaded. So how well we can address that, because harvesting and post-harvesting technology becomes very critical when you go in for more amount of value addition. So there comes into picture the live harvest. So for a normal harvest, we already have issues to be addressed. So if it's going to be a live harvest protocol to follow, then we need to develop much more infrastructure to address that particular issue. Not only that, for the retail sector, if you see, skilled labor is an issue, not only because of the lockdown, even before that. We have understood that the state of Kerala provides the best skilled labor for value addition in the shrimps. So that must be used as a tool to improve the skilled labor all around the country, so that it makes sense for everyone to start doing the value addition part. And I have already told you about the harvesting and post-harvest. And just to add, because we want to add more value, and value not only in the export segment, it's also comes from the domestic sector. So we did have a trial, especially for the southern states. We wanted to start doing this, and we first were hit with the perception of how the consumers are reacting to shrimp as a product, especially in the interior parts of even a southern state. So we have to deal with the changing the perception of shrimp. And many people were unaware of this. So that feedback, what we got, we have incorporated into the domestic sales strategy, some things which I would like to we first introduced with the tie-up with another CP franchisee calling for the poultry division. We are the CP Agro. So there we try to introduce this product of shrimp popcorn as a side dish for their primary product, being the poultry products. But the end result was that people were more comfortable eating shrimps which were focused on the palate for the Indians. So they were asking for garlic prawns or for prawn with fried rice, in curry, and even in the noodles there was a demand. So now we are thinking, we are already introducing this garlic prawns for the customers locally in the domestic sector. But these are all the things which we need to think, develop, so that we will be having a much broader view of how to get this industry up and running, going very fast. So coming to the conclusion part, so if you see many people, many of the previous presenters were talking about this. So certification and auditing will be the norm. So as long as we're planning to keep exporting and improve that part of the story, so certification and auditing will be the norm. Like previous speakers told, small farmer will have tough time getting this done. But anyway, from our side, we are trying to make a small model so that even a farmer with 1 hectare pond should be able to get all the systems in place. So that's where we are venturing out, and we will be trying models. Once it's giving us the result, I think we will be able to spread that information much faster to everyone, every stakeholder there. And the consumerism will demand higher levels of compliance, especially for the food safety and traceability. So we need to address that. Maybe the open system, which we are now doing, will be the how to say the deadlock point, because it's not accepted to run the show this way. And surely demand will be the deciding factor for the price, and the domestic markets will be the one which is going to help us mitigate this shock for a large extent. When we started, we were just seeing the quantities, very near quantities being taken up, but with just 6 months down the picture, we are now able to increase our volume by almost 100 to 200% month-on-month basis. And surely for the farming side, if you see the cost of production and improving the efficiency for the farm operation is the key. Because until the farmer will not be able to do it the right way, we will not be able to get the best product out, which the processing will utilize to go for their value addition. Because once you need to think about value addition, your product quality on farm gate quality matters a lot. So we from CP think that it needs to be a holistic approach, wherein the farmer understands his contribution to this sector and will give the best product to the processing. So the take-home message, like I told, is we need a holistic approach. So all 4 branches have to work, and to get a great value for the final product, hatcheries must think about the seed genetics. It plays a major role. For the farming side, they have to stick on to this probiotic farming management, wherein it's more sustainable as well as highly productive. And the feed manufacturers, especially with respect to their quality and the inputs which they are using, when they're going for certification, everything matters, especially for the BMPs and BAPs, which are now becoming the norm. And the timing is everything when it comes to the post-harvest management. So how quickly we are able to do finish, that's very critical for the processing side. So when it comes to the quality issue, consistency, looks, and branding, all 3 will have to work together, so that we will be adding more and more value, and we get the best out of the entire sector from this. So with that, I take this opportunity to thank the organizers for giving us this opportunity, and I'll conclude with this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, for your excellent presentation.